Hello everyone, welcome to this very special edition of CGTN. Now we're broadcasting live in the central Chinese city of Hengyang. This is a village, one of the worst affected places because of the continuous rain for the past couple of days or even the past couple of months. And now behind me in the background, you can see that's the river. And yesterday we visited this village. The water level was much higher. It was around 4 meters deep, but now the water has receded because starting yesterday, the rain has already stopped. But now you can see the place. This used to be a road, but because of the floods, the road has totally been destroyed, and now it is around 30 meters wide. The problem is on the other side is the river. And the river, the flooded the whole village on the other side of the road. And now today we're gonna walk you through the village and talk to some of the villagers who have come back to their homes to clean up the dirt. And of course, for those who just join us, this is CGTN. We're broadcasting live in one of the villages that have been worst affected in central China. And if you have any questions, please leave your comments down below on Weibo or Facebook or our website, and we'll get back to your questions as soon as possible. Of course, you can also offer your help through. We're going to go down to the village. Has been destroyed, part of it, so the traffic is totally now. And on Wednesday, 3 days ago to be exact, two major dam breaks occurred here. One dam break is 50 meters wide, the other one is around 6 meters, and what you saw just now is the 30 meters one. And now, at this moment, we're going down to the village that has been flooded. Yesterday, we came to this same place on a boat because the only way in and out of this village yesterday was by boat. But today, the water has receded ever since it stopped raining. And we're coming here, it's a little bit muddy. Be really careful. Okay, so we can see some villagers here. Okay. Hello, how are you? Okay, so we just saw one of the villagers here, and we're going to talk to him, and he's going to tell us something about the whole situation. Really careful. Muddy ground. People have inundated. The water receded, but what is left is mud. It is quite muddy. I think this is the living room, the ground floor of one of the houses here. It's a little bit dark, and we can see the mud on the ground, and also some of the stuff that has been left after the flood, and the table totally lopsided over there, and the motorcycle. And then we can also see some other stuff lying around. No person has come back to visit the house right now. And yeah, we can give a close look over there in that room. It's very muddy, and still there is some water on the ground. But yesterday it was yesterday's was around 3 meters deep, so it was a lot worse. I think it is around 3 meters tall, and the ground floor has been totally inundated. And last night the flood started to recede, so compared with yesterday. And we can see some villagers here, they have come back, and we need to walk really carefully on the ground. It's very slippery. flooding right here, but it used to be the yard of the house belonging to this house over there, and we can see some trees have been uprooted totally. So it is quite a disaster here, and the road is quite muddy. The mud is very thick, so we should be really careful when walking in the mud. Okay. We can see that floor. That's the architectural style of the houses here in the villages in central China, especially here in Hunan province. The houses are usually three-story houses. So when the flood came, the first floor or the ground floor of many of the houses have been inundated, but now it's a lot better. And many villages actually didn't leave their houses even during the flooding because they wanted to stay put, stay inside their houses to make sure that their property is safe. Now they have come back after the water is down, and I think in the background you can hear the noise of some motor working to pump the water out of the basement. Many of the houses have basements. The water is still inundating. Water is still in the basement right now, but the ground floor is totally fine. And now we have met two villagers. I think I need to talk to them about what happened here and about how they are coping right now. 你好. Hello. Hello. So can you tell us something about the whole village? And you have come back to your homes, right? 你好，您能帮我们介绍一下现在的情况？您是住在哪个房子里啊？
这个房间。
Okay. So that is your house, right? The one with tiles. And then how did it go? 现在这个房子情况怎么样？
现在房子情况全部损坏了，那上面离婚了，下面已经逃坑了，逃坑好多年了，现在完全不能住人了。
So it's totally damaged, right? And then in the basement is totally inundated and flooded, right? And there is no way for you to live there. So where do you live right now? 你现在大概住在哪里啊？
住在那就在脸。
You are living in the relocation center, right? Yeah, not far away from here. So how you came back to your house today, right? 您是今天回来的。
是我回来好多天了，我每天都是守在这里。
每天都在那个扶梯上面。
Okay, so you came back actually yesterday or some days ago, right? And then you would stay on the road, right? Because that is the higher ground. Okay, so can you show us around in the house properly? 您能带我们进到房子里边，我们可以看一下。Okay. Okay, for those who just tuned in, this is CGTN broadcasting live in the central Chinese city of Hengyang. But this is one of the villages that has been worst affected. On Wednesday, in case some of viewers didn't know, on Wednesday 2 major dam breaks happened. And then one is around 50 meters wide. The other one here, not far from here, is around 30 meters wide. And the flood came into this village. The good thing is many of the houses are 3-story high. So the ground floors have been inundated and the people can still move their stuff to the second and third floor. And now you can see it is very, very muddy. And we're walking in the mud very carefully. So now we're going to this villager's home to check out how things are going right now and how the villagers here are coping with the flood. Okay. Careful. Okay. So now we have come to the front of the house. The front of the house, we can see the gate. If we're moving a little bit, we can see the gate is totally damaged, ripped off by the flood. I think this one is much worse than the first house we visited just now. Okay. 这个里边都已经是砖了，这砖是怎么进来的？ Okay, let's go in. Be very careful. Okay. What used to be here? 这以前是 有什么东西吗？这个地方放了什么东西？
什么东西？有冰箱，
有冰箱、洗衣机、那个电脑、
橱柜。
橱柜、电器什么都有，我家什么都有，空调。
Oh, she told me she had everything in the house, the fridge and also computers and some.
床铺、柜子什么都有。家具全部都。
So everything is gone now. 现在所有的东西都被冲走了吗？
没有了，一无所有了。
没有了。你看我家全部，我家全部家具，那个都有，电脑啊、电视啊、那个空调啊、冰箱啊、那个什么柜子啊，全部都是灶台啊，全部都是搞得整整齐齐的。
Okay, so you have furniture and you have the kitchen utensils and you have beds, computers, everything that your daily life, but everything has been taken away because of the flood. So how do you value the losses right now? 但是您现在感觉有多少经济的损失啊？整个这个房子？
这个房子不剩一万，就是家里面的用具跟电器的都有，剩下是8万、10万块钱左右。
Okay, so it is around 80,000 kwai, right? 80,000 kwai? Okay, for the whole thing.
如果房子预算起来，那就是一个数目很大的。一个很大的数目了，要几十万了。
Oh, but when it comes to the repairing of the whole thing of the house, it could be a lot more money. But what do you plan to do next? 您下一步要怎么办？
下一步啊，要党嘛，政府嘛，我们自己会努力的嘛，一定要把家园建设好嘛。
Okay. So you think the local authorities would would donate some money probably to help you with the whole thing to rebuild your home? 他给，我也会努力的，不给我也会努力的。 So I'm wondering, yeah, he was saying that the government would help deafness and he would also work really hard to make sure that to rebuild their house. So I'm wondering, what do you do? 您是做什么工作？
我是搞土建的。我每天到这个看房这里，我每天都待在家里。我们村里面。有几十户人都到外面去打工了。其实我也是老人家了，但是还是算起来我还是比较年轻一点。所以他们家里每个人都有小孩在外面读书，我觉得就是很不安全的。我每天都是叫他们全部到安全的地方，我自己东西什么都没拿，就这样子。
那就帮助别人。你看他的这个手啊，他也是靠房搞伤了。
Okay, so he is apparently injured, his left hand, and he is now working in the infrastructure sector right now, and he also helped other people to rebuild their houses. But yeah, it is definitely a disaster to many of the villages here. Everything is gone, and if we're moving, to have a closer look. So, what's place it used to be? 这以前是什么？
以前我家这里也是厕所来的。洗澡的。
So it used to be a bathroom here, right? The bathroom one. Because now, if you can hear me right now, we just visited one of the houses and some of the villages. We talked to them, and because of the flooding and the heavy rains over the past few days, the communication network is really bad, so the signal could be not that good. And yesterday, because of the water was around 3 or 4 meters deep, and there was no signal. Today, we do pick up some of the internet connection here so that we can do this, so that we can show you what is going on in the village, one of the worst affected places. So now we are still moving on to the inside of the village. It is very bumpy and slippery, walking in the mud. Okay, if we turn the camera around, we can see some houses over there, and some people have come back to their houses, and then they are working really hard to pump out the water. So that's why you can hear the noise in the background. Okay, it's really muddy. And we can also see this pool. And this place used to be a farmland, I think, for one of the households here. And the trees are totally uprooted, and some of them are lopsided. But they do have some really, really good houses here. But if we look over there, you can see the pink houses with tiles. And many of the villages actually are not living in the villages right now. Only the elderly and the children are living here. Many of the youngsters now have already migrated to the cities to seek for a different life. So only the old and the young, and they make some money back to their villages to build really beautiful houses. But the flooding is taking everything away. But they're working really hard, the government, the local authorities, and also the villages here, to make sure that they could rebuild their homeland. And if we give it a closer look, we see that wall is totally destroyed, and some of the trees.
这里是人田，也是我们种的，我们家种的，全部没有了。这个草人家里面有养的鱼。
Okay. So that place actually used to be. If we turn the camera around just now, I need to correct myself. It was not the farmland. It used to be a pool. Okay, and this place, if we turn the camera around, this place we can see some crops. Yeah, they used to be crops, but now I think the crops are dying. Yeah, because of the flood.
那这个现在整个都已经死掉了。
全部死掉了，一个晚上就变成这个样子了，什么都没有了。
So do you live on the crops?
就是您平时的生存都
是靠种田养鱼，就是这些嘛。
养
这。
So you live on like fishery and also the crops, right? And also you have raised some chickens. So where are the chickens?
那您的就是一些鸡啊也都冲走了。
走了，什么都没有了，一个晚上几个小时就没有了。
So everything is gone. The fish, also the crops, and also the chickens they have been raising. Yeah, the things that they live on in this village are all gone. So it is definitely a disaster. Okay. Let's turn around. It's really. What do you do next? What do you do next then?
那您这个现在住不了了，就是 you live in the relocation center not far away from here, right? And then how long are you staying there? 你要在那个地方要待多久？
几天时间吧，我们准备自己搭个棚吧，搭个临时的棚子吧。
So he is going to stay in that relocation center. Not very big. I visited that relocation center yesterday. Not many people actually are living there. So he's going to stay there for a couple of days, and he's coming back to his home, and he's going to have a tent here, improvised tent. Okay. So how about your children? Then where are they now? Do they come back and then to help you rebuild your house?
但是您的孩子会回来帮忙吗？
会，我们已经拿到路上了，已经在路上。
Okay, they're coming back. They're on their way, right? Okay. And anything that you would like to say, like to others, the viewers, so that they can help you?
你有想对别人说的，怎么样去帮助您吗？
没呀，反正我们自己还比较年轻嘛，还可以做事嘛。
You are totally fine.
还有我们还有很多亲朋好友嘛，还有人民政府嘛，到我们反正还那么年轻，还可以做事嘛。
Okay, so you're relying on your relatives and friends and the local government to help you out, right? Okay.
阿姨，您现在情况怎么样啊？ Can you tell us something about your house?
那我就去爬一下，看一下现场吧。
Okay. Yeah, she is gonna show us around in her house. Let's go around. Okay.
She is a little bit depressed, and we saw her this morning when we were preparing. She really wanted to show us around in her house. Everything, I think, the same as the two houses we visited have been destroyed. It's very muddy here, so we got to be really careful. Now the villagers are trying really hard to clean away the dirt. It's okay. And after that, they need to sanitize the whole village to prevent any other diseases after the flood. Yeah, around the houses we can still see some water in the lowland, and the mud here is quite deep. Of course, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave your comments on Facebook or CGTN's app or Weibo, Facebook, Twitter, and we'll get back to your questions at the very end of this program, I'm afraid, because it's really hard for me to walk in the mud right now. Okay, so now we're walking into a house. I think the gate is a big one. It's a big house. Everything is covered with mud.
这是棉啊，这个以前是什么呀？就是家啦，房屋啦，就在这里啦。现在把棉都穿掉了。
Okay. So you live here, right? Because it's a big house. 这个房子还挺大，您是住在这个间里吗？
哎，就在这里啦。
So where do you live now? 那您现在住在哪里？
我现在在家就是老同志窗的那个2个儿子啦。
So you live in your son's place, right? 您是住在儿子的家里。
哎。
So how long? Can we go in now? 我们现在进去。
这些东西。
What we see is stairs. And also we can see icon. Everything is gone. Yeah, it's a little bit dark and everything is randomly placed, and we can also see a chicken in the room. Okay, if we turn the camera around into this very small room, I think it used to be one of the bedrooms, but we can see some cabinets and also that around there. Everything is misplaced. It's a disaster. So what do you think? What do you think the government should do? Anyways, what do you think the government should do to help you out? 您认为政府方面可以给您什么样的帮助？
因为我们没有任何关系，就是靠自己独立自理。
Okay. Yeah, she's telling us that she has to now rely on herself because it's a big disaster and definitely lots of things to take care of. But some villagers would say that the government would help them out because they would receive some donations, some money from the government or their relatives and friends. And now they have come back to their houses only to find out that everything is gone. And the first step, they have to clean up the dirt and the crops. So you have nothing to eat now. So you're living in your son's place right now. 您是住在儿子那里是吧？
我就在儿子家里了。
And then everything is fine for them. 他们的家里情况怎么样？
家里情况，头前不穿过，饭还是跟得香了，饭还是有吃了，衣服还是穿了，那个过得下去了，那个过得下。
Yeah, but at least they can cope right now. But for this house, it's totally destroyed, and now she has to go to her son's place. Of course, if you have any questions, please leave your comments down below. I think I've got some comments now. Okay, now, yeah, it's very muddy and slippery, so I'm going to read through only some of the comments here. So I have got this comment from Facebook, that is Anajali Shiva. She said India is also facing the same issues. Yeah, flooding. Yeah, that is definitely one of the toughest issues for each individual country right now. And also we have got this comment. I think it is from Facebook as well. My hearty condolences for the rain affected families in China. Thank you very much. Yeah. So for those who just tuned in or you didn't follow the news for the past couple of days, yeah, there were heavy rains for the past 2 days. There were heavy rains for the past 2 days. And also in this very small village alone, it is tucked away in the mountains, and 2 major dam breaks occurred on Wednesday, 3 days ago. And the one is around 50 meters wide, the other one is around 30 meters wide. That is the major reason why so many villages have been affected. And as far as we know, in this county, as well as 200 villages nearby have been affected, and 270,000 people have been affected. Their lives have been affected, but 17,000 people, not a very big number, have been moved to the relocation center because many of the villagers didn't want to leave their houses. They wanted to stay in their houses to make sure that their property is safe. We visited the same place yesterday and we came into this village by boat, but today, because the water receded starting yesterday, yeah, ever since the rain stopped, now we can come to the ground. It is still very muddy. It's very slippery, and we are raising the camera and moving the camera around. You can see some of the houses are very nicely built, but some of the houses are a little bit shabby, a little bit dilapidated. Over there, we can see that one made of bricks. Yeah, I think that one is totally wiped out. And also we see the crops, because this is the countryside. Usually they have their crops around their houses. And the crops are totally gone, and the livestock and also fish are gone. And now some of the villagers, they have to rely on the local government, and some of them have to. She is. 不用，谢谢，谢谢。不用，谢谢，真的不用。Yeah, she. 谢谢，谢谢。Thank you. Yeah, she has some difficulties. Yeah, it is really heartwarming. I have to say, it's really heartwarming. She has some difficulties herself. Yeah, she has to now live in her son's place, and she probably doesn't have food to eat, but she is giving us some steamed buns here, so it is really heartwarming. Of course, if you just join us, if you want to show your help emotionally or probably financially, and then you can definitely leave your comments on Facebook or Weibo or Twitter, and we'll get back to your questions as soon as possible. And now if we move around, so everything is very much the same. We see houses torn apart, some of the houses torn apart. I think this house is about this house. You're going to see that's made of bricks. It's in a really bad state now. Okay. And we do see, I think some people used to live there.
Some people used to live on the second floor, but people are gone now. I think they are probably living in the relocation center, but not very big relocation center. Here in this whole county, with over 200 villages, there were altogether 250 tents. Many of the people would choose to stay in their homes, but now if we move around, we can see someone is trying to repair their walls here. He's working now. It's going to take them quite a while. I talked to the authorities yesterday, and the authorities said it's a very big disaster here. So in 2017, 2 years ago, there was a major flood here in the same place, but it was not as bad because the dam breaks didn't happen. And this one is as bad, according to the villagers here, as bad as the one back in 1994, 25 years ago. Despite the efforts by the local government right now, there are still many challenges right now. It is very hard for them to rebuild their houses because many of them who live in the village right now in China are the old and children. And many of the youngsters, they have migrated to the cities to seek for a better life. And of course, if you have any questions, leave your comments and we'll still read your comments. And then we're going to give you the latest updates because according to the local meteorological agency, it is likely there will be more rains in the next couple of days. Especially today, it's a little bit cloudy, as we can see. And this one is totally, the house is totally destroyed, torn inside out. And I don't see any villages in the house right now. Okay, so this used to be a village. And one of the worst affected villages right now. And many people are coming back. Many of them are working here, but it is empty. Usually they would go to the relocation center in daytime. They would go to the relocation center at night and they would come back in daytime. And that's why we got the opportunities to talk to some of them. And of course, if you have any comments, then keep commenting on Facebook or Weibo or Twitter. And we're gonna keep you updated for any of the developments here. And of course, if you want to show your support emotionally, financially, and leave your comments down there. And we're gonna show you the latest updates later. See you, bye-bye.